What is up, guys? It's me, Zachary, and welcome to day 45 of the 2017-2018 NBA season. We got something that I'm pretty excited about to talk about today, so let's just get into everything that went down yesterday. Now, this game itself wasn't really the most exciting game of the night, and there isn't much to say about it. The Spurs sent the Memphis Grizzlies packing into their 10th straight loss last night, 95-79, behind LaMarcus Aldridge and his 22 points for Memphis. I don't know if it just shows how valuable Mike Conley really is to this team, or if there is some severe dysfunction going on, because I acknowledge Conley as a great player and I know what he brings to that team, but clearly this losing streak isn't just because they don't have him, because if that was the case, Conley must have the same impact on Memphis that LeBron does on Cleveland. Anyways though, that's not even what we're going to be talking about today. The real topic today is that Kawhi Leonard is on his way back. Yes, you heard that right. Kawhi Leonard is going to be returning to the hardwood very soon. You guys remember how Tony Parker said a couple of days ago that Leonard will be back in like 2 weeks max. And I said that I was excited, but I didn't want to get my hopes up until I heard it from Greg Popovich himself, since he's going to be the guy that decides to put Leonard in the game, obviously. Well, yesterday, Popovich did say himself that Kawhi Leonard is now in the final steps of his rehab process. Those are the last steps. That's what Tony Parker did right before he came back. And what Popovich is talking about is the fact that Kawhi Leonard has been running 5-on-5 full court, full contact games with the Spurs in practice. This is huge. This means that Kawhi Leonard can literally come back any game now. If you guys don't act like you forgot what Kawhi Leonard done said about himself getting a lot better, adding a new element to his game over the offseason. He does it every single year. However, this year he came out and verbally said it before the season began, granted before he got injured too. And myself and a lot of other people are already speculating that's most likely going to be playmaking, because honestly, that's one of the only things that Kawhi Leonard doesn't do at an elite level on the basketball court right now. I'm just really hyped for this though. You guys already know that outside of every single player on the Pistons, Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player in the NBA. You guys know this, so seeing him on the court for me will be like this feeling that I can't describe. It'll only help me get even more amped up for this season. And I got a feeling that when he does come back, amazing things are about to happen. Wow. 3 days in a row with a star player being ejected from a game. This is getting kinda out of hand. Like, for real, NBA, if this continues, you might need to step in and do something about this, because it seems right now that any sort of lip talk back from NBA players to refs qualifies them for an automatic ejection. Alright, so here's what happened last night. With 4 minutes to go in the game, Durant drives, gets to the bucket, wants the and one, and shouts "call that" to the referee. The refs tee him up and send him packing. And then Durant gets the last word in with the ref before he walks out. Like, this is beyond ridiculous. You cannot be serious with that one. The ejection that Anthony Davis got, that's understandable. He really looked like he was about to snap that ref in half. LeBron's, I guess the ref was just terrified of LeBron getting that close to him and kicked him out of the game out of pure fear alone. But this one, I ain't even no KD fan, but saying "call that" gets you tossed now. Durant had no previous techs, no flagrants or anything in the game. It was just a one tech ejection, just like LeBron had. Now, KD didn't seem to care much about getting tossed out when he was tossed out. He just walked out the game because the game was pretty much over at that point. The Warriors got the dominant 133-122 win, where they had an insane 46 assists on 55 field goals. And love or hate the Warriors, but that is the way basketball should be played. But it's to the point now where, like I said, we have 3 star players getting ejected 3 days in a row. 2 of those players had never even been ejected before in their life. What is going on here? I don't know if all the refs had some type of meeting where they said they're going to try and put an end to players talking to them on the court, or if they just want to feel more important than they actually are. But I'm telling you that at this rate, we will see Kawhi Leonard get his first ejection of the season for not smiling enough. And KD made a statement after the game saying that the refs are trying to run the game.
Yeah, the refs run the game, so they get to, if they're not feeling good today, they can just make any decision they want. So I gotta know that they got all the power. I gotta just share up and take it.
Refs do got feelings too. Like KD said, if a ref is having a bad day, what's to stop them from just tossing a player out, just to take some aggression out on the player? A player talks back, that's the last straw for the ref, and boom, they're out of the game. It almost seems like a little too much power for one man to have. I don't know if anything ever should or will be done about refs tossing players out like this, but when you start to see guys getting tossed like KD was last night for just saying call that, it ain't a good look. Side note about this Warriors game though is that Jordan Bell was amazing last night. Curry said he's going to start getting more minutes before the game yesterday. Bell got 16 last night and made the most of them, scoring a career high 16 points as well as blocking 3 shots. Have you guys noticed the trend yet? Like for real, whenever we start to worry about the Thunder, this is the second time this year this happened, by the way, but whenever we start to worry or question the Thunder, it's Paul George that steps up, has a big night, and saves them from another loss. When they had that 4-game losing streak and people were panicking, he had a huge game scoring 42 points against the Clippers. And last night, when they were on a 3-game losing streak coming off losses to the Mavs and the Magic and people were seriously starting to question this team, he goes off for 36 points and 9 assists in a narrow win over Minnesota. Paul George has come up huge for this team when they really needed him. That being said, this was a good win and a much needed win for the Thunder, but we can't yet say that they figured it out and all their troubles are magically behind them now either. There's still some ways off from that, and this was just one player of their big three having a monster night to carry them to the win. And I wish if I could change anything about Russell Westbrook, it would be the amount of threes he takes. Teams are just daring him to shoot it from distance, and he does it almost every single time. He's shooting like 32% from 3 this year. It was 0 of 8 last night. I just refuse to believe that a Westbrook 3 is the best look at the basket the Thunders are able to get when he takes those shots. 111 to 107 was the final score. Man, the last couple of games had just been awful for the Pelicans, and to no real fault of their own either. They finally started to play pretty well, bet above 500, then AD gets ejected and they lose to Minnesota, and this time AD once again has to leave the game, but not because of an ejection. First possession of the 4th quarter in last night's Jazz vs Pelicans game, and AD just goes down. Looking at the replays, he doesn't get hit, no hard contact. Derek Favors was simply boxing him out, but once again there was no real contact, and AD just goes down, grabbing his inner thigh. He was on the ground for a good couple of minutes saying that he couldn't get up. Eventually he has to be helped and carried to the locker room because he couldn't put any weight on his injured side. The Pelicans have since diagnosed him with a strained groin, but he's going to have more tests done on it today and is for sure not going to play against the Blazers. Looks bad though, and hopefully it just looks worse than it actually is. On a good note, how about Donovan Mitchell though? This guy is going to be ridiculously good. The rookie went off for 41 points last night. Gordon Hayward's career high with the Jazz his entire time there was only 40 points, and Mitchell has already one-upped him literally for 41. 12 teams passed on this guy in the Jazz. Some of them were understandable since they got good players, but some of them I'm sure would have much rather had Donovan Mitchell right now. And then Denver, y'all traded this guy away. This could very well be one of those draft day trades that we look back on in like 5 years and say, how on earth did they trade this guy? Jazz win the game 114 to 108 thanks to Donovan Mitchell, their 5th straight win. 70 points in the paint. How do you give up 70 points? That's insane. It's very hard to win when you're letting the other teams bully you that much down low. So even though Victor Oladipo tried to be the hero, I just started realizing that I was driving a bit, so I just threw that last part in there. Anyways, even though Victor Oladipo scored 36 points, had 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks, dude is a beast, the Raptors still got the 120 to 115 win because, say it with me, they scored 70 points in the paint. DeRozan led Toronto in scoring with 26, while Poto had a career high 18 points on 8 of 8 shooting off the bench. The Pistons came out of the gate flatter than flat in the 3rd quarter as Washington opened up the second half on a 17-0 run, even without John Wall. Not too many teams can lose an impactful guy like Wall and still be as competitive as the Wizards have been without him. It's impressive. After that 3rd quarter start, the Washington coasted to the 109-91 win behind Markieff Morris, having by far his best game of the season with 23 points and 7 rebounds, while Drummond had 14 points, 17 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 blocks for Detroit. Would have been a really impressive game if they won. Still no Kemba Walker for the Hornets, and still no Hassan Whiteside for the Heat either. And the Heat were the ones who come away with the 105-100 win in this slugfest, thanks to Josh Richardson dropping 27, as well as the Heat going on a 9-0 run in the final minutes of this game to get the win. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I can't imagine what it's like to be a Bulls fan right now. Like, yes, you want to lose all the games that you can to have the best chance of getting that #1 draft pick, but then again, there are still some times where you would just like to win, especially if it was another close game like last night. One night after losing in a nail-biting thriller to the Denver Nuggets, Chicago found itself in another nail-biter against the Kings, and like against the Nuggets, they lost Again, 107 to 106, back-to-back 1-point losses. Like I said, I can't even imagine. Zach Randolph turned back the hands of time for a vintage Z-Ball game though, with 25 points and 13 rebounds on the night. That wraps up all the action from last night though. You guys can go vote for the player of the day by following the link down in the description box below. Just remember that only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, you guys selected Will Barton and his game-winning 37 points as the player of the day. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe to the channel for more daily NBA news and updates. But until tomorrow, keep getting the buckets, Team STC, and I'm out of here. Peace!